Good evening, ladies and gents. We are at St James's Palace in London. A little bit of the history first, as always, and then I'll give you a pan around. St James's Palace is the most senior royal palace in the United Kingdom. It gives its name to the court of St James's, which is the monarch's royal court, and is located in the City of Westminster in London. Although no longer the principal residence of the monarch, it is the ceremonial meeting place of the Accession Council, the office of Marshal of the Diplomatic Corps, and the London residence of several minor members of the royal family. Built by order of Henry VIII in the 1530s on the site of the leper hospital dedicated to St James the Less, the palace was secondary in importance to the Palace of Whitehall for most of Tudor and Stuart monarchs. The palace increased in its importance during the reigns of the early Hanoverian monarchs, but was displaced by Buckingham Palace in the late 18th and early 19th century. After decades of being used increasingly for only formal occasions, the move was formalised by Queen Victoria in 1837. Today the palace houses a number of official offices, societies and collections, and all ambassadors and high commissioners to the United Kingdom are still accredited to the court of St James's. The palace's chapel royal is still used for functions of the British royal family. Mainly built between 1531 and 1536 in red brick, the palace's architecture is primarily Tudor in style. A fire in 1809 destroyed parts of the structure, including the monarch's private apartments, which were never replaced. Some 17th century interiors survived, but most were remodelled in the 19th century. Right, that's your history done. So it's views now. This is like the back of it, and what we'll see more of in a minute is the front. Of course, making sure that I don't film too many people. When the guards go in those boxes, I suppose, when the royal is there. And this is called Friday Court. I don't know if you'll be able to see that with the zoom in or not, but Friday Court. You can most definitely tell that this is Tudor. Ah, excellent. It's empty now. Or Tudor, however you want to pronounce it, depending on how common you are. Tudor arches, you can tell straight away. There was police and everything here earlier, and this is a protected site under Section 128 of the Serious Organised Crime and Police Act of 2005. Over here is the Chapel of St James's, the Queen's Chapel, or Chapel Royal as it's called sometimes. The Queen's Chapel. The Queen's Chapel at St James's Palace. I don't film the police. Architecture, which is all Tudor, as you can see, is very interesting. So turn around, go this way. And the old boot scrapes there for scraping the mud and horse muck off your boots in the old days, and nowadays as well. They still come in handy, so yeah. We're standing in that turret thing, underneath it. Right. More elaborate iron boot scrape here. A lot of the original architecture remains in these places. Another iron boot scrape. Over here is interesting though. I'll show you these first and then I'll cross over so you can get the long view of the architecture of this gatehouse. Pall Mall. Arrow slits, but by Tudor time. Muskets and guns. If you tried attacking this place, you've got one there and you've also got one up there. Well, making sure I don't get killed, of course. And then I'll cross over with a view that way. Cleveland Row. And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes our tour. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please give it a like and